Hey guys, it's Hannah, and it has been a very long time since I have done a wrap-up video, but we are here today for my October wrap-up. I will not be doing a TBR though because I am way too much of a mood reader. Coming out of a reading slump, there's no way. There's no way that can occur. However, I read 6 books this month, which is literally like the most that I've read in a month this year and in a very, very long time. Probably because I'm back home, and I feel like whenever I come back home, I just automatically get thrown back into reading. I don't know if it's because I'm surrounded by books every day in these bookshelves, or if it's just like me reverting back to my like middle school, high school self now that I'm no longer in college. But we read 6 books and I'm so excited about all of them. A lot of them were really good. This was a pretty good reading month. I tried to read some more like Halloween themed books. There was one more book that I really wanted to get to this month. I just didn't have time to. Let's get into the 6 books that I read this month. Starting the month off strong, we have Today, Tonight, Tomorrow. This is by Rachel Lynn Solomon. It's not a Halloween book. This is my first book that I read this month. The rest are all like spookier books, so this is the only outlier. This book is about a girl named Rowan and this guy named Neil. It's all told from Rowan's perspective, and Rowan and Neil have been academic rivals since their freshman year of high school when Rowan didn't win this like essay writing contest and Neil did. Ever since then, they've been bickering, they've been beefing, they've been after each other's throats, trying to compete against one another for literally everything. It's the last day of school and Rowan just found out that Neil got valedictorian, which she wanted so incredibly bad. She's like, okay, I need like one last thing to like beat him at. So she chooses end of the year game that all the seniors play, kind of like a little like goodbye to their city of Seattle and all of their friends. It's kind of like a game of assassin mixed with a scavenger hunt. Turns out Rowan and Neil end up having to team up because this is an enemies to lovers. Is so much fun. I really enjoyed this book. I think it talked about some pretty great topics as well, and it just was such a nostalgic read that I've been really nostalgic lately, let's be real. Graduated college, we're back home. This was really fun. I really enjoyed this. I really want to read more books by Rachel Lynn Solomon, which I just got another one of her books yesterday at the bookstore, which I made a book shopping vlog on Reels, so you can go watch that on Instagram. I think I'm also posting it on TikTok. I don't think I posted it yet, but watch out for those. I will say Rowan got a little annoying with how much she was trying to deny her feelings for Neil. It gets brought up a little bit about like why she did that. I will admit it was a little bit annoying at some points, but I really did like Rowan and how determined she is. Same with Neil. I think learning about Neil was really fun, and kind of diving more into his character and his side of things, because they didn't really know each other that well. They really only knew each other through school. It was really interesting trying to see them like peel off the layers of each other and learn more about each other. And I want another book about them in like their college years. I think that would be so much fun to see like where they're at now. We're gonna move on to my second and third reads of the month because they go together since they're a duology, and that is the Grimrose Academy duology. I don't know if that's actually what they're called. We have our first book, which is the Grimrose Girls, and then we have The Wicked Remain. I read these one after another and they were just so good. They are fantasy retellings. You start off with this friend group who all attend the Grimrose Academy, and one of their best friends had just died. The police chalk it up as suicide, however their friends don't believe that at all because it just doesn't make sense. And almost immediately they have a new girl moving into their dorm because they go to a private boarding school. So they have a new girl immediately moving into this girl's dorm who had just died, and she finds a book of fairy tales, but they're all very dark and gruesome, hence the Grimrose Girls, because they're basically kind of like the Grimm's fairy tales. And so they find out that their school is under a curse, and I am not going to say anything else because it's just so much fun. It's a murder mystery fantasy retelling, which was just so fun, and it takes place at a school, and I don't know why I love books that take place at academies and magic schools. They're just so much fun. I don't know why. These were so gripping, and the chapters are extremely short. I have a thing where if a chapter is too long, it just like takes me forever to get through. Short chapters, I will fly through them. You get all of the girls' points of views. You also get the new girl who just moved in's point of view, which is super interesting while they're trying to figure out what is going on. I loved seeing fairy tale aspects of it because there's a lot of them in this book. and how the author intermingled them and how they're all friends and how different they are, but also how alike they are. All of the girls are unique and they all meld together so well. And I think watching their friendship and how much they all mean to one another is just, it's just so heartwarming to see, especially when facing grief and whatnot, which I was so happy that they didn't just throw away the grief aspect of it. They actually really talked about it in this book, and they're still grieving their friend. They were best friends. They might have had some issues. All friends always have issues, like at one point or another. I like how the grief wasn't thrown out the window, because I feel like a lot of times nowadays, grief is kind of just thrown out the window. Like if something traumatic happens in like a book, it's just like not talked about again sometimes. That was really refreshing to see, and I loved this. So if you really like fantasy retellings, I read so many good books this month, but if you really like fantasy retellings, pick these up, especially if you like murder mysteries, very thrilling things happening. There were some parts that freaked me out. There's some gruesome parts, I will say, but also I hate gruesome stuff, so they might have been more gruesome to me than they actually are. Next, we have a murder mystery thriller adult book that was recommended to me by one of my friends when I was at the bookstore, because I really do like the thriller genre and like the true crime genre. I just don't read enough of it and I really want to get more into it. I hate horror though. The one that she recommended me was Then She Was Gone. This is by Lisa Jewell. I enjoyed this book, but it made me feel icky. So this is basically about this woman named Laurel, and her daughter Ellie went missing 10 years ago. You kind of get switching points of view, but you mostly get Laurel's point of view. One day she's in a coffee shop and she starts talking to this guy and they become a thing, and she realizes that his daughter looks weirdly similar to Ellie, who had disappeared 10 years ago. They don't know what happened to her. And so she kind of goes along this journey of figuring out what happened to her daughter, and you get to uncover some disgusting truths. This book just made me feel really gross. I also didn't really like Laurel, to be honest. She just kind of bugged me with some of the things that she would do, and she just basically hated her other children. Ellie was like her golden child, and she made that known. And I was like, this is like not okay. The way that you're treating your other children is not okay. I hated it. It just bugged me so much. This book took me for a wild ride. I was expecting, but also not. I kept kind of guessing back and forth. The way that you read it is just so, it just makes the story even grosser. This book freaked me out, but it was a good one to read in October, I will give it that. Next up, we have a very fun book, which is My Roommate is a Vampire. This is by Jenna Levine. The roommate is actually a vampire, so it's a vampire romance. It was so fun. I loved it. I would have given it 5 stars. However, the ending just felt like it was thrown out the window. It got solved way too quickly. It literally got solved in like 2 pages, which it just felt so rushed, and it either felt like the author didn't know what she wanted to do, or she had like a cap on the words that she could use, or like or page number or something. I don't know. It was just so cute and I loved it. I loved the characters so much, but then it just felt like it got thrown out the window because of the ending. It just was way too rushed, and I wish it would have gone on a little bit longer, because she 100% could have. Basically about this girl named Cassie, and she finds an apartment on Craigslist, I think, and it's literally going for like $200 in rent. So she's like, okay, well, I really need cheap rent, and this is like way too good to be true, but I'm gonna try it anyways. She becomes roommates with this guy. She finds blood bags in his fridge, and she finds out that he's a vampire. Certified vampire. If you're looking for a fun time, even like not in October, this was just so fun. I loved it. Just be warned that the ending is not good. The ending is not good. And finally, for the end of this month, I read The Screaming Staircase. This is by Jonathan Stroud. This is part of the Lockwood & Co. series, and I mostly read this because of the TV show Lockwood & Co., which they canceled on Netflix, and I'm still mad about. But it's all about ghosts. It takes place in this like futuristic London where ghosts have basically kind of taken over, and the world kind of relies on literal children to fight off these ghosts. A ton of different agencies and whatnot. So Lockwood has his own agency where they fight and expel like ghosts and demons and things. I feel bad saying this, and I don't know if it's because I saw the TV show first, but I liked the TV show a lot more than this. I don't know if it's because they aged up the characters in the TV show and it just fit more. Also, some of like the descriptions of George in it, because we follow our main character Lucy, it just like made me kind of mad that she kept referring to him as fat. And I was like, girl, literally it happened so many times where she just described like his weight and his eating habits. Am I gonna continue with the series? Probably not, but I will say that the TV show did follow the book pretty well, like mostly with events. Yeah, I was slightly disappointed with this. Alrighty, those are all of the books that I read this month. There were 6 of them, which was so much fun, and I enjoyed most of them. Like, I feel like I had a pretty good reading month. I did start a few books as well. I started There's Someone in Your House. I was really hoping to finish this one. I'm literally like 10 pages in. I wanted to read it all yesterday, but I was so exhausted because I just started a new job yesterday morning. So I passed out at like 9 p.m. and then had to get up at 4:45 again. Started If We Were Villains. However, I want to do a whole reading vlog on it, and I feel like every time I want to read, I just like am not put together enough to start filming myself. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sorry I'm not doing a TBR. I'm too much of a mood reader for that, but look forward to some reading vlogs coming in the future and some other fun videos. I'm so glad that you guys watched this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you read in October and what your favorite read was this month. I would love to know, and if you have any recommendations, please let me know. I'm always looking for recommendations. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!